Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble while following us on Facebook, or find us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcasts can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for past episodes, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now. Enjoy the community. Subscribe or follow today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's weekly podcast series, The Seance. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Mackis. If this is your first time tuning in, please click subscribe, like, share, comment. And also, don't forget to follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. Today, tapping into unwavering self-love and embody your confidence. A mother of three, human MRI, psychic surgeon, freedom illuminator, change management certified expert, accountant for 15 plus years, and for the past 7, she's been empowering individuals to reinvent themselves, redesign their lives, and rebuild their confidence after major life shifts. She was initiated to work through her own major life shifts, mourning the end of a relationship and marriage, but faced a judicial injustice which led to being separated from her children for more than 5 years. This is what has awakened to her calling. Let's welcome to the seance for the first time,
Gao
Motsemme. Sometimes when I get in that rhythm, I'm like, okay, hold on.
But you did it.
Yes.
So I'm celebrating that. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, my friend. Welcome. So, what is a psychic surgeon?
I'm going to answer that.
Psychic surgeon.
But I would love to start by greeting your audience since I've greeted you. And I do that in my loving native language.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, dumelang, lokai. Dumelang in a direct translation is agree. Lokai is where are you? Locate yourself. So I just want to start first by inviting everyone or asking even when you are coming here to the seance, what is it that you are agreeing to? What are you open to? And where are you? And with that said, when I say locate yourself, I'm just inviting to be present and not just listen with the mind. Because if we are just connected to the mind, we tap into what we already know. But when we get to connect with the body, we allow the body to inform us without our own filters. And now I'm going to answer your question, which is what is psychic surgeon?
That's beautiful, by the way. Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah, a psychic surgeon, what I do, which is the gift that I just found myself with, that I inherited, basically it's removing, just like you do a surgery, but I do the surgery energetically without cutting your body or anything. This is why I'm big on us listening to the body, hearing what the body is communicating with us. So I just scan and I get to know what is happening, where something is stored. And every conversation is different. Sometimes the body is more louder than what we want to say.
Yeah.
If at all, you may come with the mind that, okay, this is what I need to focus on. And the body brings something else. And normally I trust the body because what the body brings may bring changes in different areas of your life that you didn't expect because you are just focusing here in the human, but the body will share things that affect different aspects of your life. So psychic surgeon is basically doing the surgery, but without opening you up. But the process or even how you feel it, it's just you feel it that I need to rest because something has shifted. You are not the same person that you were. You are not carrying the baggage that you were carrying. You are much more lighter. So you need to rest and ground yourself so that you can get a grip of who you are. Yeah.
We definitely do not pay enough attention to our bodies. They scream and yell at us all the time when there's something wrong, but we ignore it, or we just don't know how to listen to it.
Yeah. we for survival, we have learned to get out of it, especially if it's someone who is oh my God. You see what is happening now?
Yeah.
I want to say, for someone who is in pain continuously, the only way that they can deal with that is by getting out of it so that they don't get to feel the intensity of it. But the truth of it is we can't heal what we do not feel. And what is coming through, what is kind of like, many times it just happens like this, that something is just coming through so strongly. And right now I'm just here on the throat, which means somehow there is that not fully expressing of the self, speaking our truth and all that. So that's like when I say at times the body will just bring something into my awareness without even me looking. So that means this is the energy of your audience, just go out there and start speaking your truth. What is your truth? Because at times we think we are speaking the truth, but we're speaking what we're conditioned to believe is the truth, like what other people want to hear. What is that we want to really express that is coming from the core of our being, so that's like what was just coming through so strongly.
Yeah, it's those energy centers or the chakras, and it's opening, some are closed, some are open. It's crazy. There's times when I'll do this show that I'll get stumped. I'll try to express something and I can't express it. And maybe not only on this show, but I'm sure everybody's dealt with it. It's like you so want to express something, but you get tangled up in whether confusion or you get sick.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like, we're not asking the right questions. Sometimes we also got to ask the universe, why can't I do this? The answers are out there.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to get into this particular niche of healing?
The truth, and I believe is the truth, that we all know what you seek seeks you. So as a child, this work just kind of like it was just on my face, just by so many things happening. And as I was relaying and sharing with my family what I was experiencing, the first response was like, "Oh my God, you're gonna be a traditional doctor.
Yeah.
You have to go to church." That was like the experience. You have to go to church, and okay. But then I just did what every child does. We follow what our parents is, the path that they lead us to. But I didn't feel aligned. There is just that knowing that when we connect with it, even if someone is out there preaching, it's kind of like, no. And sometimes you can even get pissed off without knowing why you're getting pissed off. But it's kind of like, this is nonsense. I'm not buying into this nonsense. So eventually I just stopped going to church, which is something that was like painful to my mom. As I was doing my own teenage thing, she was just like, "Oh, I just remember you used to be this little girl who was going to church. You were praying a lot. I don't know what happened. Something went wrong along the way." and sometimes when we run away from ourselves, that's how we end up numbing that, either through alcohol, drugs, food. Like we find some sort of addiction to numb whatever that wants to emerge. So along the way, I went through that path, like trying to find something every weekend, going out drinking and all that. But at the end of the day, somewhere along the lines in my 30s, everything around me started to crumble, which started with me losing my corporate job. And when I was just like, okay, fine, at least I'll have my package and I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. I have this dream of my younger brother having an accident and dying. And it was so flipping real.
Yeah.
Because I was crying and I said, you know what? He had so many dreams, and I was talking about the things, like real conversations we had. And when he came, I was just like, oh my God, I was so scared because they went to the kettle post. My parents were farmers. So I was like, I was so scared. I had a dream of you dying and it was so real. And he just said, oh, how don't worry. I still have many years to live. I'm around. I'm not going anywhere anytime
Yeah.
soon. And 2 weeks, that accident happened. Yeah. And when we received the news, I was with my mom. I was meant to travel that morning. And when you wake up and you both know what you know, but you don't know what you know, like we know something is not right because we are all gifted. This is a gift that we have in our family,
Yeah.
So waking up and I want to drive, and my sister's like, no, don't go yet, wait. And I'm not saying what I saw in my visions, and she's not saying, no one is saying anything, but there is that energy that something is not right until we received that call that they had an accident. It was my younger brother and my nephews. And my mother was crying and she said, why don't you take me, God? Why him? But he was in the hospital in a very bad state. And when I saw him the first time, I also knelt down and I said, God, just save him and I'll do whatever that you want me to do. So I believe that was the moment I agreed to this work.
Wow.
So this is like something that has been chasing me and I was running away from it. But it took everything crumbling down for me to start not knowing who I was, for me to find who I am. So this is how I got to do this, because along the journey, being separated from my children, losing my mom, my younger brother is still alive, but I lost my mom in the process. This is why at times even the power of the words, when we're going through something at that moment, what are we saying? Because he said, when I told him this is the dream I had, and he said, I'm gonna live for a long time, don't worry. And my mom, when she heard the news, it was like, God, take me instead of him. And here I was on my knees and I said, I'm ready to do whatever that you call me to do, save his life. So at times it's just like, even in the moment of desperation, what are we saying? At that moment, what are we asking for? What are we committing to? So for me, it was just like the moment when I said, I'm going to do the work that you asked me to do. And when I was separated with my children through that pain, who are you without your children, your religion, your mother, your father, your house, your job, everything? This question came through. And I learned that the voice that just came through was, it's time to do what you came here to do.
Wow. It was almost like the genie's bottle, but only one wish.
Yeah.
At that desperate time, you have the bottle. All right, just one wish.
Yeah.
But it took a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What part of this personal journey influenced you or influenced your professional approach, getting and doing this professionally?
And I would say my whole life. That's what I'm gonna say, because it starts with, like I said, as a child, you are a child, you've got this authority, which is our parents, we've got other authority, all the system, educational system, religious system, political system, judicial system, a medical system. Every system is telling you who to be and how you get to behave and all that. And here I was as a little girl in a very traditional African family, and I'm coming in with this, hey, which for other people it's kind of like I came in with an attitude, but I came in with the knowing of who I am, and I was not willing to sacrifice who I was to sustain the societal and cultural beliefs and all that. So I was more, as my mom would say, stubborn, crazy. I was called a lot of names, rebel, and all that. But all I was doing, it was, I am unique and I deserve to be me. And there was this dance between me and my mom, which, I'll say at times when your focus is what would people say, you realize that that becomes more important than the relationship that you get to have with the people that you love. So, and it's all coming from fear. So my mom was more a cultural person, and who I was being was not meeting that cultural beingness. So I felt not accepted. And she kept on saying in her words, you are not like my other children. And in my naughtiness, not even knowing what I was saying, I would say, yeah, that's why my name is Gao. I'm just meant to be different. And I remember at some point when I said this, she just laughed, but it was the laughter of, oh God, what am I gonna do with this child? You know? So there was that I was fighting against. And then when you go out, even with the whole schooling, the whole system, and what I didn't realize is, as much as I thought I was speaking the truth, and this is where we started about expressing who we are. I thought I was, but what I didn't realize, it was this subtle resistance from my mom of who I'm being. It created a wound of wanting to be accepted. So I went there, and even the choices and the decisions that I made were coming from, please accept me. I chose boyfriends who, like, for instance, the father of my two children. I mean, I wasn't in love, but at that moment I was smoking. And from an African traditional family, a girl smoking and all that, even around, there was just like that judgment. And with him, it was like, it was a different kind of family. And his mother was smoking, aunties were smoking, everyone was smoking. So I felt like it'll be cool. I can hold my cigarette and be with them. So I mean, it's a crazy
Yeah.
thing to choose to be in a relationship with for that reason. But when you're looking for acceptance, you can make a decision, a choice, even though it may be stupid, but it's more like, I just want somewhere where I can be myself and not have to hide who I'm being or what I'm doing, right? So it's one of those decisions that took me on this path. And then here I was, as a woman, we are defined or we are esteemed by our children, right? So here I
Yeah.
was with two children. As much as I was not married, I had two children out of marriage. Of course, there is that shame, especially when I talk about the religious background and all that. Even beside the religious background, I still remember hearing one of my family members, a woman and her children, and they were just like, "Who, how? You'll think that she's educated, but when she decided to have children, she had children one after the other, ha ha ha," and they started laughing, that kind of thing. So it's
Yeah.
things that people talk about at times, even in your presence, as if you are not there. And there is that shame of, okay, yeah, I had two children outside marriage, and people are judging. But now when you face the judicial injustice where the same children, because we say that as women, I'm gonna kill for my children. You know,
Mm.
we are not willing to live for them, but we are willing to take anyone who is getting in the way of our children or who is threatening our relationship. And because that's what we are conditioned to be esteemed by when it comes to a mother. A
Yeah.
mother is a mother by the way you nurture, by the way you sacrifice who you are to your partner, to your children, by the way you support everyone's dreams, but not yours. That's a caring, loving mother. A
Mhm.
mother who focuses on herself, her dreams, is not enough of a mother. Now you give birth and then your children are taken away from you. Who are you being? So this separation of my children defined and changed everything for me, because first thing, it brought me to a situation of, first thing is shame. When you lose your children because of death, for instance, people are more compassionate. They're willing to listen. They lean towards you.
Mm.
But when you say the judicial injustice or whatever, no matter what you say, it's kind of like they raise eyebrows. They start questioning who you are being as a mother. So at that moment, growing up not feeling accepted and now going through that, yeah, I felt powerless. I felt shameful. I felt not enough of a mother. And there was also still anger of all that was going around me, But in that turmoil of being thirsty and hungry for blood and wanting to kill somebody, if I could find a way to do that easily, I would have done it. That was
Yeah.
when the message came through. That's not what you are here for. You are not meant to do things like that. You're not meant to do things like that. And I started paying attention. But as I relocated to Germany and I was still fighting seventh lawyer and appealing my case, and nothing was happening. One thing that I was grateful for was nothing has happened to my children. But while I was going through that, and then I received a call, you may need to sit down because Fiona had an accident. She was bitten by two Rottweilers and they
Mm.
have teared some muscles. She may never walk again.
Oh.
At that moment, I was like, God, this is. But as much as there was a lot of anger, at that moment, what I realized happened was kind of like like everything in me just dissolved. What I felt, the words that came through was, I'm tired of being strong. I'm just tired of being strong.
Yeah.
And that was the moment when I allowed myself to feel, to be with all of me, with all of my emotions. Hence, they listening to this nudge of sit down and write. And I sat down and wrote those words. Who asked me, who am I? You know, and while I was doing all that and still be willing to go ahead and find the ninth lawyer. But the message was, the odds are against you. You're not going to win. So what should I do? You need to work on yourself and forgive. And I laughed just like a crazy woman with tears down my cheeks, but at the same time laughing like, are you crazy? Forgiveness? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Forgiveness? Do you really know what happened? And the response was just simple. Do you want your children, Gao? And I said, yeah. And the message was just that. The problem is you think these children belong to you, but they don't. They belong to God. They were given to you to take care of them, but they're not yours. They are on their own mission. Are you willing to follow your own path? So that for me was the aha moment to say, oh, these are not my children. I am on my path. They're on, huh? Because we are not taught that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you were on your own particular path, and also they were on their own particular path, divinely on their own other path.
Yeah.
It was like I tell people this all the time. It's like things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
We may never know as soon as they happen. It might take a while for us to go, oh wow, that's why that happened.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's like a poem that you can't decipher.
Absolutely.
Or a riddle you can't decipher. Well, when you were, and you've since been reunited with your children, correct?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
5 years now.
Wow. Congratulations.
6 years now since we moved in together. Yeah.
Yeah. How are they?
It's a journey still, being separated with the children when the little girl was 5 years and the boy was 7, and with them going through whatever tribulations that they went through. Because what I normally don't just mention here is that as the separation happened, they were moving in with their father and the father/girlfriend sister-in-law. You understand? Like the sister was married to their father's brother, and so it was just like that kind of messy environment.
Awkward.
But it was also short-lived, and then something else. So they went into that, and yeah, we got reunited. But at the same time, there were different people when we reunited, and now we kind of like getting to learn to know each other. They learned what they learned. They went through their own pain, It's another journey. Basically, it's another journey which also requires presence, requires love, especially from when I look at my son, and this is what Spirit as well. One of the years, 3 years ago, when Spirit said, it was just like getting that feeling, and I felt my heart drop to my feet. And the next message was your son. So I'm like paying attention. And the message was never stop loving him. That was the message that I received. So I'm on a journey with him that I don't know where it's going to lead. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like he's got his own path. He's going to go through some stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know what is going to come out at the end. It will depend on the choices and decisions that he gets to make. But do I have the capacity to hold space and love him no matter who he is being? Because here's the thing, as a healer, when you get something like that, for me, the first reaction was like, okay, cool. I'm on it, and I'm starting to call, and I want to clear everything. And I was blanking out, like blank. I couldn't say his name. I couldn't say anything. It was blank every time I wanted to clear. And this was like, this is his soul mission. It's his path. It's not for you to interfere with.
Yeah.
And that was also another lesson to say, at times we want things to be a certain way. We want our children to make certain choices, decisions, but when they have chosen to learn, however that they're gonna learn, the most important thing is to love them. Yeah.
And
So
try
that's
not,
how it
yeah,
is being. But with my daughter, it's different. It's quite interesting because it has been, yeah, but somehow this year, was it in February, I did this. Was it Mother's Day, Women's Day, I think. So I did this healing, and it was just like a free thing that I did for women. And the moment I concluded that healing all the patriarchal wounds and separation and all that, the moment I concluded that, that same day, my daughter moved into my room. For 2 months, she was sleeping with me. So I would say we have bonded more than ever. She's now 15, but our relationship is back to how a mother-daughter relationship is meant to be. But with my son, it's still a journey. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it can be a challenge to, keep our children from making the same mistakes that we've made.
Yeah.
And in the past as a parent, that's a real and I know my parents have, they keep telling me, they've told me for years, like, don't make the same. They won't say they made that mistake. They'll kind of insinuate
Yeah.
that they could have made that what you're about to do is what they did, and you just don't do that. But it's hard to do that. It's hard, we can't, when they get to a certain age, it gets to the point where we lose control,
Yeah.
and we just got to let them live, walk their own
An
path and
experience.
learn the
Yeah.
lessons.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's 17, so it's expected, especially when you look even at the background, whatever that was happening from since he was 7 and all that, and not forgetting that even generationally, when I look at my ancestral lineage, it's loaded. His father's ancestral lineage is loaded. So
Yeah.
it's not a mistake that he chose these families. There is something to explore there for him, But it's just that, because one of the things that I learned even along this path was, are you willing to be the light for your children? Because one thing that I was just like resenting and angry about was, what's the point of having children if I can't be with them and mother them? And the
Mhm.
response was, what if you are just meant to be the light for these children? As I also connected with Mother Earth at some point, and while I was feeling that wound, that emptiness, and she said, this is just how I feel when I
Mhm.
long for my children to wake up to the
Yeah.
truth of who we are and connect on a deeper level. So I guess it's that motherly wound, but at the same time, it's also learning to love, but without attachment and wanting to control everyone, to mold everyone into whatever we think is right. And knowing that sometimes through that path that maybe we shun is where they're going to get the wisdom that they are meant for them to be able to evolve into the next level of expansion. It's just like trust in the process. Yeah.
Where is the as far as your methods, do you have any breakthrough stories of transformation that you'd like to share with some of the clients that you've worked with?
Yeah. I've got many, but what is coming through now to mind, I've got two things that are coming to mind. One with another young lady who she was really in pain, and like in her words, she said in that year, she didn't think that she would live beyond that year. Like she's surrendered to death and just felt like death is the best way, especially with the pain that she was in, so she was actually, I would say, recommended by her mother, and she was not ready. But at first there was like that doubt of, I don't know if this is something that I want to do. But just because of pain at the end, she was like, okay, fine, let me just give it a try. So we worked together for 4 weeks. She had an appointment that was scheduled ahead. What she did was just going back to go check on how the cysts are, and we worked together for 4 weeks. And after that 4 weeks, she went back to the doctor and everything was cleared.
Mm.
So it's one incident that is coming to mind. And then another one is of this also, I would say young lady, because at times, we have this age that we have in mind that when I get to this age, I should have accomplished this, or else I'm a failure. So she was
Yeah.
in her late 40s, and she hasn't worked for 7 years since she went through a situation where like some things happened at work and she quit immediately, and from there she, just because of the whole abuse from her boss, she didn't have it within her to start working again,
Mm.
and started doing a bit of business, but nothing worked out at the end. So when we started working together, she hasn't worked for 7 years. And
Wow.
the first thing she's just like, I need money, and the first thing that came through was just like her father's energy, and I said, you need to connect to your father. So we went deep and did the work and realized that it was her, but she was not herself, as in like the energies that she held into was more of her mother, like everything, money issues, relationship issues. But the difference is she was in a good relationship. The husband really loved her, but she was more protective. Like she didn't want the same abuse that the mother went through to happen to her. And even the illnesses, the pains that were in her body were not hers. So
Yeah.
we did the work, disconnected her from her mom so that she can embody her unique soul signature blueprint, not her mom. And we also realized that there's some sexual abuse that happened that she just like brushed aside. So we worked on that as well. But the most important thing is, while she became her mother, out of wanting to protect her, she resented her father. And the father was the breadwinner. So to her, it was like, money is making him the way he is. And I don't want the same thing that he has, because I may become whatever name that she was calling her father.
Yeah.
I don't want to become like that. And what she didn't realize is this was the energy that she was having around whatever that she was doing. So even when it comes to performance, she was not being her fully self, because all these things were holding her back. So we worked together 12 weeks. She didn't even apply for anything. Somebody just called her husband and said, I'm looking for somebody who's got this expertise. And the husband was like, oh, my wife actually can do that. Okay,
Yeah.
ask her to send the CV. And she didn't even update the CV or anything. She sent it just the way it was. And they called her and they said, you know what, we actually need someone, but not as an employee, as a consultant, and offered her 90K. That was like amazing. And she was just like in tears, like, I can't believe this happening without an application. Like she didn't apply, it just found her, and that's exactly how she desired, because she
Wow.
didn't want to go and be a full-time employee, but she wanted to share her expertise as a consultant. So those are the things that are coming to mind. But there's just a lot of magical things that happen when we get to connect to ourselves deeply, and which is what I call freedom of individuality, is disconnecting from everyone and embodying who you are, which also on its own, it gets rid of the whole codependency, because as children, we get to depend on our parents and looking for the validation, approval. And even when you look at the, like, for instance, relationship or marriage, we are taught that you are half, and then you meet another half, you become one. What about being whole, and becoming together as two whole, while you are not losing yourself to sustain a relationship, which is what happens a lot. So
Yeah.
that's magical. Yeah.
Wow. Where can people find you? For those who are listening can't see, but we do have your website scrolling down
Yeah.
there on the bottom and stuff. So where can people find you? And we're on social media and share
Yeah.
that info.
People can find me in Gao Motsemme, Gao, GaoMotsemme. GaoMotsemme.com, that's my website. And on social media, I also go by Gao Motsemme or gaomotsemme.magneticconfidence in Instagram. And I'm going to share also a link with you for a free 45 minutes intro to my work. It's a 45 minutes. I call it Orgasmic Clarity. I'll share a link bit.ly/Orgasmic Clarity, so that we can find out what is standing on your way of your freedom and success. So I'm just going to see what the body is bringing through. What do you desire? What is the body sharing through that? Because at times, even when you're talking about love, I want an emotional loving partner and all that, but yet the nervous system is craving for that toxicity that you grew up in. Because it's another thing, we may talk about love, it's a 4-letter word, but on the other hand, the way our nervous system understand it, it depends on what we're given. When you talk
Yeah.
about love, what is it that you saw around you? Even when it comes to money, sometimes you want money, but you are damn scared of it. The body feels like I'm gonna die here. So
Mhm.
yeah, if you're open to that, I would love to have a conversation with you, because I'm always excited by this. At times, it's the inner child that just comes into the forefront and like, hey, despite someone being so stoic and all that, the inner child will be like, no, things are not fine here on my side.
Yeah. And then you're also on social media. Let's see. Actually, I do have your website up here. Nice website. I like it. Embrace the power of authenticity and vulnerability. Be unapologetically you.
Absolutely.
And they can find you on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I do.
And you're also on TikTok.
Absolutely.
Okay. And we'll have your information in our show notes as well, so people can
Yes.
find that there. Now, before we go, what would you like to offer as a takeaway for our audience today? What were some words of wisdom that you would like to share?
One thing that I want to share, especially in this self-development of a lot of information, being positive. I love myself, and at times it's just like I love myself as a defense mechanism, which I call mentalization of self-love. But I'm just inviting people to be themselves, to connect with their emotions. And I love to share the story that I received actually from Mother Ocean when I was going through that turmoil and being angry. But at the same time, as much as I was angry, I just wanted to be positive, and I also was not comfortable with feeling all this. I judged my own emotions for feeling that way, wanting to feel different. And Mother Ocean came through and just shared with me. The message was just simple: embrace who you are.
Mm.
Embrace all of you. You are beautiful. Even in that stormy anger, you are so beautiful. And what you get to understand is people love you at the level that you love yourself. And she said, do you know how many people go to the beach? Do you think people love the ocean? People don't. They just love the surface. They don't like the deep, dark waters. They don't like it when the ocean is raging and doesn't allow anything to be in her path, but she still remains the ocean. So at times, for us to be able to go deep into those dark waters, for us to find the wisdom, for us to find those treasures that we're looking for, is by us allowing ourselves to go within, even into those dark shadows that we're afraid of. Because it's beautiful. It's just like music. When it has that bass tone, that soprano, it's what makes life beautiful. Emotions are the evidence of life, and they inform you when you are not in alignment. So that's all I can share.
Yeah. Yeah. And if everybody was the same, I mean, everybody is unique. If everybody was the same, it would be a very boring world.
Absolutely.
And embracing our uniqueness is what makes life beautiful. What makes
Yes.
everything not so boring.
Yeah. Absolutely. We love
Right.
our weirdness, all of that. That's what makes it more colorful, more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the one thing that I live by is the level that you are not fully free to be yourself is the level that you are not fully joyful.
Mm,
And that is the level that you are not fully loving.
yeah. Beautiful. Blessings, my friend. Blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for being with us today and for sharing. And keep in touch. Let me know. And you're for those who don't know, you're chiming in from Germany, correct?
Yes, I'm from
Awesome.
Germany.
Awesome. See, I tell everybody that we have people from all over the world here. We're on a planet. It's a spaceship. We're all here together. Let's just get along. Let's help each other and
Absolutely.
let's heal each other.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome, my friend. Blessings to you and your family. And let's keep in touch. If there's anything else, like a book coming out or a new program coming out, or you make it to the United States for a vacation, give us a holler.
I'll do that. And I would love to meet you in person. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Because I've got something actually coming through soon.
Yeah.
Actually updated, I think it's going to be on the 18th, 19th, 20th. It's like a 3 days thing, especially for those people who went through it. I don't know when this is going to air. Those people who went through a breakup or divorce, we're just going to go there and disconnect. I haven't spoken about this, but I talk a lot about our names from our lineages. And especially when you are married, you take your husband's name, and there is also a law that is loaded with that. So we're going to go deep there and disconnect with all those so that we can fully embody the freedom of individuality. Yeah, and live the life that you're meant to live, being fully you. So I'm excited about that. That's what is cooking in the moment. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this will be, I think, around the end of the year, but that'll be as far as the broadcast. But that, believe me, as fast as this year has gone, it's going to be here in no time.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Thank you again. Many blessings. And yeah, until just keep us posted. But
Awesome.
yeah. Thank you, everybody, for watching Conscious Radio Network's The Seance. And we will see you next time.